I've thought quite a lot over the past year about what makes the field such a special place. It's actually people. What the field showed me, or what the field presented to me, was just this space where everything, plants, the animals, including us human beings, just worked perfectly together. My name's James Brunt. I'm an artist from South Yorkshire. I work outdoors creating temporary arrangements, installations of natural materials, so all over the place really. About a year ago, I was invited by Weleda UK to spend some time here at the field, which is their biodynamic herb garden, capturing my work across the period of the year, but also capturing the site, the changes to the seasons, how the site changes as part of how it's managed, and also just trying to capture the essence of Weleda themselves. People, I think, will know Weleda for their skincare products and their herbal remedies. Well, a lot of it is produced here, all organically or super organically grown. So it's a fascinating sort of site to spend time and to see those changes and just be part of that process of a year's cycle of this land. "2021 celebrates 100 years of Weleda, which is partly why I've been invited to spend the year here. And this film's a bit of an introduction to the work I've been doing here, and a little bit of an introduction to this site, which I guess not many people get to see. So we'll show you some of the places that I've really connected with, and some of the work I've been doing here. And then I'm going to make a piece of work as well. So when I first started working on site here, I kind of explored, but then in terms of thinking about work, I naturally gravitated towards kind of the edges where it's a little bit more wild, and sort of quickly kind of areas became kind of favourites, I guess, or spaces that I would naturally gravitate to. So the woods at the far end of the site, particularly at the time when I first started, it just looked amazing. So my first piece of work was in those woods on a path, just a really nice path that runs through, that's been made by the garden team. And over the year I keep going back to that path, even if it's just to walk through, just to see how it changes. But every season kind of offers up different opportunities. It's been really nice to build up that relationship with the space and share it with kind of like the inhabitants there. One of the things that's really important to Weleda is, as a working biodynamic herb garden, is the ethos is that every living creature is vitally important to the land, and each sort of like gives something to the land. And I think that's made my relationship with the space really quite special, and noticing what is around me when I'm making work. The pond is another area that I've really enjoyed spending a lot of time in, just because of the change, from the dropping and the rising of the water levels to the colour of seasonal changes. It's every season it's a different space to work in. Whilst working in the field, there's always this constant background noise of kind of real life around, I guess, normality going on. So there's always this kind of background noise of construction, which kind of grounds you back to reality of kind of where you are, but also then heightens the sort of feeling of kind of like just how special this place is. And then you've got the sounds of nature close by, a key, but then beyond it there's this background of kind of life beyond this space. There's been some really special encounters with other residents here while I've been working. Face to face with a fox that is around this site quite a lot. He didn't know I was here. I didn't know he was there, but we just both looked up at the same time and just spent a few really precious seconds just staring at each other. And I've tried to capture that in photography, as I've been on site. Things like a green woodpecker that are around, I caught that on camera, which was nice, and some insects, some great dragonfly pictures as well. And that relationship to this space, I think, is something that Weleda's ethos has really heightened in my awareness whilst making work. One of the things I've had to get used to whilst here is, because this is ultimately it's a managed garden, is once certain plants were harvested for what Weleda needed for whatever they produce with plants, I was kind of offered the opportunity to follow on and sort of pick what was left. Now, it took me a while to get used to that because I don't generally pick things from plants themselves. I'm foraging on the floor. So that was kind of a new experience for me to get used to, actually going into a sort of thistle bed and picking the thistles off. Again, it was new opportunities, I guess, to work with certain materials. But what I think's nice alongside that is there are more thistles that grow along the path sides, which are just left, they're not part of the crop, so they're left to go the full cycle and sort of reseed and things. So there's this kind of like real understanding of kind of like the stuff that grows here and a respect for it, which I hope I'll take on board, way beyond this time of working here. From the emergence of spring through the seasons until the shutdown of winter, a year in the field has been a really enlightening journey for me. It's been really special. Being part of a year's cycle of the land, a small part of it, but as crops are planted and produced, the composts sort of prepared so lovingly, and finally, as the site's being prepared for the next year's chapter in its journey, it's just been a real privilege to be a small part of it. It's just been such a special year.